I wanted to add a special beginning thing to this before this episode of the Michael Baugher Show starts. In this, I say that America is in the 40s as far as healthiest country in the world. Actually, when I went to go find graphics, I found out that we're actually 33rd. So I do apologize for my mistake, and every time I do say 40, I apologize, I mean 33rd, and I will put the graphic up in the video next to my head to show that that's what the statistics say. Thank you again. I'm sorry about my mistake, and enjoy the video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this late edition of Fit Friday. Today we're talking about the Affordable Care Act, so let's get right down to it. Hello ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in to the Michael Baugher Show. Of course, I'm your host, Mike, and we're going to get right into the Affordable Care Act. Yes, that horrible thing everybody thinks of that's just like when grandma makes liver. You don't want to eat it, but you have to eat it because grandma made it, and in fact, it is healthy for you. Yes, grandma, thank you for making this liver for me. I appreciate it, and I promise I'll eat it. Now, some people think the Affordable Care Act is some terrible thing created by a terrible president, when in fact it's not. The Affordable Care Act was basically designed to get us with the rest of the first world. America right now is in, I think, the 40s as far as the world's healthiest countries, and that's terrible for a first world to be in. And we are one of the only first world countries that uses a for-profit healthcare system. That's not healthcare. That is sick management. And this act has saved a lot of people's lives. Beforehand, insurance companies could deny you for anything they wanted. For example, my thyroid went bad when I first bought insurance before the ACA, and for 6 months my insurance refused to pay for it until their doctor, who they have on staff, finally decided that it wasn't a pre-existing condition. I was also looking for health care for me and my wife, and yes, before the Affordable Care Act, being a woman was a pre-existing condition. When I was looking at the paperwork, if I had signed it for my wife, any female problems my wife had, she would have had to wait a year to get covered by health insurance. And if we wanted to get pregnant together and wanted to have a baby, we had to buy pregnancy insurance and wait an entire year before she could get pregnant. Now, the Affordable Care Act got rid of all that. The Affordable Care Act made it to where you are a person. You're not male, you're not female. If you're sick, it helps you out. And it was intended to help the poor, and it was intended to save a lot of money. It also got rid of high-risk pools. Now, I've looked into high-risk pools before, and high-risk pools are basically like insurance for people with cancer. High-risk pools, you're looking at probably $1,000 a month for your premiums, which you can't afford because you have fucking cancer. And then you also have to pay deductibles and everything else too. So good luck with that. Basically, a health pool is basically death. But the Affordable Care Act actually fixed all those issues. No more discrimination based on gender. Insurance companies could no longer turn you down for being sick because health insurance companies are there for when you're sick. And it was to help cover costs of hospitals. And it was actually designed to lower the costs to the healthcare system completely. Because before that, people who couldn't afford to go see a doctor went to the hospitals. And then what they did is after their visit, they filled out forms, and the government paid for their hospital visits. And hospital visits are 10 times more what it costs to see a normal doctor. And that's what the ACA was trying to do. It was trying to get people away from the hospitals for primary care and into normal doctors, so ultimately the government and people paid a lot less. Now, what went wrong with it and why it's failed is because basically, I'm not trying to throw blames at parties, but it is the Republican establishment's fault. They didn't want to expand state insurance to people who fell below the poverty line. And because of that, hospitals started having to take the burden again. But the healthcare law also started stripping hospitals of the money that they were getting for treating people who couldn't afford to be treated, because they were supposed to be covered by government insurance now, or private health insurance. And that caused a lot of hospitals to close down and a lot of doctors to close down, because basically those states who refuse to expand government health care to the poor basically screwed over their hospitals, screwed over certain doctors, and a lot of rural hospitals closed down, meaning people have to drive miles now for emergency treatment and might not make it. Now, repealing the Affordable Care Act may seem like a great idea, and it's not. If we repeal it, we're going to go back to the same system we had before. For profit, people can be denied, and people are ultimately going to start dying again. Instead of repealing it, we need to fix it. We need to go in there, figure out what's gone wrong, and fix it. Maybe offer subsidies to everybody instead of just to a certain point, and not offer government care to the rest. Like, give them a voucher if you're below a certain line, and that voucher will fully pay for the insurance premiums. Maybe do like the rest of the world and let the government control healthcare, because they seem to be in the top 10 countries, while we're in the low 40s. So obviously the first world is doing something a lot better than we are. It's a bad idea to repeal it. It's a bad idea. Any replacement ideas I've heard are bad, because high-risk pools are just bad for everybody. You're just going to watch people die. Letting health insurers choose what they want to cover is just going to let people die. And the ACA was meant to stop that. So I'm calling on Republicans, Democrats, Independents, everybody. Instead of repealing this, fix it. Repealing it means you're starting from scratch, and there's no way to start from scratch. Anything you're going to put in there, something is going to be from the ACA, and then someone's not going to like it. So I'm appealing to the humanity in everybody. I want the world to see this. I want everybody in America to know that I love you and I care about you, and I don't want to see you die because you can't afford the health care. Healthcare is like car insurance. Most people don't realize that. Car insurance, you're actually paying into a pool of money. So when someone else gets into an accident or somewhere a natural disaster happens, your car insurance goes up because of that, because they need to offset the cost. And that's what happened with the ACA. Allowing people not to sign up for healthcare has caused premiums to rise, because they're now having to pay for sick people, and there's those that just don't want to pay for healthcare in general, but they want to use the free hospitals and then make us pay for those hospital visits. It's just not right. So yeah, we need to fix the Affordable Care Act and not replace it. That's all I'm going to say on it. I know I've repeated myself a couple of times. I love you guys. Each and every one of you, even those that are going to hate on me for saying this, but spread love, not hate, especially now since this country's so divided. And I'm sorry I'm posting this late, but I've been trying to post a vlog for 2 days, and every time someone tries to put a copyright strike on a song that was created in the 1800s, the creator died in 1917, and copyright laws only protect it until 1987, and then after that it becomes public domain. Yet somehow companies are still allowed to copyright it. So I'm trying to upload that vlog right now, and then hopefully I'm uploading this. But hopefully something I said sunk in, that healthcare is a human right. The Constitution guarantees us life, and healthcare is life. And denying healthcare is denying those people their constitutional right. And I implore anyone who loses health care when the ACA is repealed to file a constitutional lawsuit against the administration. And if the Supreme Court judges, who I'm pretty sure is going to be a very conservative judge, shoots down that, then basically it's time to protest, because the Supreme Court is supposed to uphold the Constitution, and the Constitution specifically says every single person has the right to life. Health insurance and health care guarantee life. It doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your income bracket, you are guaranteed life. I love you guys. Bye.